lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and to provide some actual insight into what all this fucking information means, and most importantly, what you can do with it, how you can apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and life that's out there. Before we jump into the show and everything, obviously you guys can see that I'm not in my studio today and had an internet outage over the weekend there, and it hasn't been repaired. And instead of canceling, I said, fuck it. I'm going to set my mobile studio up at my kitchen table because no matter what, the freight keeps moving. I'm going to show up every single day. There's always a challenge that's going to show up in life and business and everything else. You got to find solutions. And I got solutions for you guys. And I made a promise to you that I'm going to show up every single weekday, no matter what. And here I am with that. Drew Driscoll, let's fucking go. What's up, brother? Good to see you out here. Otto, good to see you, my man. Good morning. Before we jump into today's show, though, you guys, I got a very special guest. You guys know him. He's got one of my favorite podcasts in the industry that I listen to all the time. And he's got a sweet event showing up here in Houston, Texas, next month. But before we jump into all of that, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. You need to hit them up, whether you're a broker, carrier, or shipper alike. We all need access to trailers. And frankly, this is a great opportunity for you to get into the door with some of these large shippers that you want, that they always need those things called assets. And now you can utilize all of that stuff on there. So with what they're working on right now, you guys, they have San Diego, California going out to Selma, Texas. And the best part about it, you get paid to do this, $750 to move this brand new reefer. And this is one of those things out there. If you're a small carrier or a fleet, you should not have to shut down your operation. And that money you get paid is on top of the revenue that you get by throwing freight in the back of that trailer. They also have West Palm Beach, Florida, going out to Aquasance, New York. You get $2,000 to do that. And then they also have a Salt Lake City, Utah, going to Henderson, Colorado, $700 to do that, you guys. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friend Stacy Steen and Xavier Campos, they're going to be in the audience here in a little bit. And yeah, just make sure you let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Bob, good morning. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Steven, good morning, sir. Papa Freight in the house. Erica Hamilton, good morning. Tammy, good morning. Thank you for joining. Julia, what's going on? Florida's back in business. Let's roll. Deborah Smith, good morning to you as well. All right, I'm going to bring them on right now, you guys. I have my friend, the host of Truck and Hustle podcast. And if you're not subscribed, check it out right now on iTunes and Spotify and subscribe to that one. Mr. Ramel Watley in the house. Ramel, what's going on, my man?
What's up, Chris? What's going on with you, brother?
Oh, man, just ready to make moves, ready to make things happen.
I hear it. I love the intro. I love what you said, man. You got to get it done regardless, man. You had some issues this morning, but we're making it happen, man.
Yeah, dude, it's like, I mean, it's out of my control. You know, it's not like I woke up and I'm like, how am I going to fuck up my own day today?
For sure. Well, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it as always. And before we even get started, man, I just want to say congrats to you on all the growth. I tune into the show all the time. You're like the Stephen A. Smith of transportation and logistics, man. That morning take is important. So, thank you for what you do. And thank you for having me on today.
No, man, I appreciate you, dude. It was my pleasure. I mean, it's like, I remember you were on my podcast. It was like over a year ago at this point. And same to you, man. Congrats to you. Your growth is nonstop. You're all over the place and you're just continuing to bring. What I love the most about your podcast is just the stories of the individuals and how they came into the industry, whether they were from it or not, but like they came into it and they found success. So like, what is the Truck and Hustle podcast for the ones who are watching the show that haven't heard of you?
Yeah, for sure. So what I like to say is we like to be a mix of inspiration and information. What we do is we interview transportation and logistics entrepreneurs from all across the nation. We give them an opportunity to tell their stories, and then we get into their businesses, kind of do some deep dives and try to teach people how to do what they do, man. They say success leaves clues. So, they get to drop some jewels and leave some clues on the podcast, and hopefully people can follow in their footsteps and be successful as well. So that's what it's all about. But ultimately, we just want to inspire people to get into this business. We feel that there's so much upside in transportation, so many different verticals and niches you can get into. So we just like to kind of put that on display. And that's it, man. That's what Truck and Hustle is all about.
So what I gotta ask, what's been your favorite interview that you've done? Who's got the best story? Because dude, like you've had some of these individuals, like again, it's like talking about like the adversity and like overcoming and stuff like that some of your guests have been through. I'm just like, man, it's like no matter how bad you think you have it at times, like legitimately, there are people out there who have it fucking 10 times worse. And ironically, they would also kill to have the life that we are personally living right now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, to answer your question, Chris, I've been asked that question before. It's so hard to do that. I mean, we've done about 150 episodes to this point. We've interviewed everybody from, athletes, entertainers, entrepreneurs. We've interviewed Damon John. We've interviewed so many different people that do so much different things. It's hard to really pick a favorite because every episode we're learning about new things, right? So every episode we get a chance to explore, and it's always a learning experience. So I can't say there's a favorite. I have a lot of favorites. There's I could probably name about 20, 25 favorites or maybe more, man. It's a lot of them that I really enjoy.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. It's, the more and more people I talk to, it's almost like the more and more excited I get every time I talk to somebody, because it's like, man, like to your point about what your slogan is on your podcast there, man, through innovation or information and through innovation and everything, is it's like, man, we all got a story, and like we're all so much more closely tied than we think. And it's like, to me, it's about the overcoming of those obstacles, and like it's not insurmountable. Like the odds aren't stacked against you as much as we think at times. And when you hear other people, and like to your point of success leaves clues, where man, there's people who have came through a lot worse circumstances that have overcome more and have reached higher levels of success. And those are the stories that need to be told. It's like those everyday people, like me and you, man, we're from the working class, dude. Like we're out here building our dreams, and hearing that other people who have came from way worse situations and then have built way bigger companies. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? There is a way.
That's right. That's right. And to your point, man, it's all about proximity. It's all about seeing people who have similar backgrounds that you do, or similar stories that you do, and when you see it, you can believe it, you can achieve it, so forth and so on. And that's what we really try to do. Just put those stories out there.
Dude, that's so true, man. Like what's crazy is it's like, manifestation, for example, like it's a very real thing. And it's everything that I've got now. I was like hoping and praying for when I first started. And it's just that constant showing up every single day, no matter what's going on, you have to show up, you have to put in the work. And, for those of you who are listening to that, be like, what does that even mean? It's like, not every day is going to be easy. Not every day is going to be good and the greatest thing ever. And, frankly, entrepreneurship and getting out there, and hell, not even just entrepreneurship, but business in general, it's tough. But if you don't show up the way that I tell myself, Ramel, if I don't show up every day, some motherfucker who wants it half as bad as I do is going to come in and swoop up everything if I don't show up.
That's right.
That's my mentality every day.
That's that Mamba mentality, man. It's all about consistency. Just taking the small steps towards a big goal, as my brother Hamza Sabri likes to say from Global Connects. It's just small steps towards a big goal. Fall in love with the process. Don't worry about the destination, because ultimately when you reach the destination, the only place you can go is down, right? So I always like to say, I don't want to get to the top too fast, man, because after that, I'm going downhill. So let me take my time and get there and enjoy the ride.
Dude, it's so true, man. Because again, it's like everybody thinks like when I get to a certain point, my life's going to be easy. And that's just not the case. I think that when you look back on it, and it is the process, that's where all the magic is. Like, yes, achieving goals is fucking amazing, and I'm not going to like discredit that or anything, but it's like, if I was to look back at myself when I first started doing all of this in my bedroom on a broken laptop, on a starter kit off of Amazon and everything else, I could have never imagined that I would be living the life that I'm living right now a little over 2.5 years ago. I mean, because frankly, man, less than 2 years ago, dude, I was still delivering pizzas to pay my bills.
Right.
And, and it's like, and that is that consistently showing up every day. Like today, for example, not letting obstacles fucking derail your entire week. Because I've been that way before, man. Like one event happened on a Tuesday and I said, fuck it, I'm done for the rest of the week. I don't have that option now because it's like, if I don't kill, I don't eat. My
That's
family
right.
goes hungry and I refuse to let that happen.
That's right. And it's easy when you have people depending on you, man. It makes it that much easier to, make sure you go for your goals. And I'm a family man myself. I have people depending on me also. But, I try not to, take myself too seriously. I try to have fun and be in the moment, enjoy the ride and just enjoy it, man. I love all the love that I receive for doing Truck and Hustle and the platform. So it's a good time, man. I don't get too crazy about it. But I just enjoy it, man. I love it.
Dude, absolutely. So what do we got going on here in November, man? What's going on? It's in Houston, Texas, November 4th, 5th, and 6th, right?
Correct, sir. So yeah, that is Freight Fest. So Freight Fest is our inaugural conference for Truck and Hustle. We started doing events this summer. We did 2 events that we call the reset. So the reset, for anybody in transportation, they know a reset is that 34-hour break that a truck driver has to take right after they work their 70 hours. Right. So we kind of named it after that. And it was just a time for networking, people in our community to kind of get in the room and let their hair down, connect with each other and just network, right? Exchange trade secrets, exchange information, resources, etc. And, the resets were really successful. We did one in Atlanta. That was maybe about 150 people. 2 months after, we did one in Houston. Speaking of Houston, that was about 420 people or so, 420 people. And, that was all leading up to the conference, which is going to be November 4th through 6th. That's Freight Fest. So I've got to be full transparency. That was all a part of the roadmap, just kind of building up the momentum towards Freight Fest. It wasn't a mistake. So, we wanted to kind of get our feet wet in the event space because we hadn't done it before. So we started small and we just kept on kind of building and progressing and it led up to Freight Fest, man. And what Freight Fest is just a culmination of all things that, we've been building over the last 3 years, just curating the different content and the different leaders and voices in these different spaces and niches that we've, built this huge network and bringing them all in the same room and being able to have that same Truck and Hustle experience on steroids, right? Live in person and just making it something really fun, something different that no one's ever seen before, just adding some of the different antics and different flavor that Truck and Hustle brings to transportation and logistics. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be November 4th through the 6th, Houston, Texas. I love Houston. It's a beautiful city. They've embraced us. It's like my third home now. So we'll be going back to Houston and it's going to be a fun time, man. So far, the tickets are flying. So we're expecting a really, really big turnout. It should be amazing, man.
Dude, I love it. OTR is going to be there. OTR Solutions. I saw Grace Marr is going to be speaking at the event. I saw Adam Wingfield is going to be there. Hope White is going to be like, dude, like the list just goes on and on and on, man. And I love it. And I love these. I just love learning from people at the end of the day. And, obviously Adam Wingfield, he's somebody whom I consider a close personal friend at this point, because me and him talk frequently about this stuff. And that guy is just a wealth of knowledge. And, coming from his experience in the industry and building up to what he's built up, man. And for anybody who's aspiring to get into the industry or who's in the industry as a trucking company, as a small fleet, whatever that looks like, man, that's a guy who you need to follow. He gives out so many gems.
Yeah, man. Adam is a genius. I connected with Adam about maybe 2.5 years ago or so when we first connected and did the show. I was introduced to him by somebody in the network. I forgot exactly who it was, but when I met him, I felt his passion, and it's just amazing to see how he's grown so much as a leader in the space. He's like our go-to guy for everything. He's a mad scientist with analytics and data. He just really understands logistics so much, man. And it's great to have him at Freight Fest. I'm excited to have him as one of the speakers, as well as some of the other people you named, Grace Marr, OTR Solutions. Big shout to them. They are our title sponsor. Without them, we couldn't make this event happen, right? So they've been behind Truck and Hustle, almost from day one. They kind of embraced us very early, and they've always supported us and supported our efforts, and just kind of they stand out the way and let us do our thing. We'll have some other people there that you may be familiar with. Dean Croak from DAT,
Oh, yeah.
principal analyst. He's been on the show as well. Another wealth of information, just really understanding the spot market and just really being able to get into the details and the minutia of things that people don't really understand. And that's really the key, man. Just having a network and being able to have access to these people, because I certainly don't know everything. I don't call myself an expert in anything. I'm just a curious person who just loves to learn, and I just love to listen. And that's what I'm really good at, is just asking questions, because I'm really naturally and curious, and I just really want to know. So when I sit down with these people, I'm truly asking because I want to learn, I want to know. And we've just been blessed to grow this network over the years of just industry leaders and really, really smart people in different spaces. And now we're bringing that to Freight Fest.
Dude, that's fantastic. No, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, I just actually met Dean Croak for the first time in person in Chicago last week. And I mean, because he's been on my show a couple of times. And man, that guy just, like, I swear he's forgotten more than I know about this.
100%.
And those are the people you got to surround yourself and learn from.
He's one of the, like, when he comes on the show, people love it. Like, people always, they come in the DMs like, you got to have that guy on like every month. Like, he is spitting diamonds, like, because he just knows the stuff like the front, like the back of his hand, man. It's amazing. I envy that. Like, I wish I could be as well studied as people like Adam and people like Dean, who just really just understand and dive deep into the industry. It's really amazing.
Dude, absolutely, man. And hey, let's jump into some articles. Got to give some more shout outs here. Cecilia, hello. Deborah, Ramel's great. Hit him up on YouTube, Truck and Hustle. You guys, Tim Perkins, what's up, my man? I appreciate that. He says, what's up, Ramel?
Tim, what's good? What's good, Tim? I met Tim the other day. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good, man. Tim's legit. Yeah. I like him a lot.
He is the guy.
Deborah Smith, the whole fuck. Yeah, Deborah, it's a real thing. It happens to us all at times. Yeah, it is all about networking there, Bob. Tisha, I would hit up on Innovative Logistics Group on Instagram. Adam Wingfield is it's on LinkedIn, and then I think he's on Facebook as well. He's very visible out there. Papa Bear in a chair on YouTube just subbed to the Truck and Hustle channel. Excited.
Thank you, Papa Bear.
Content.
Appreciate that, sir.
So, dude, the first article I want to talk about today is from ttnews.com. It's the American Trucking Association touts USDOT's truck parking agenda that's going on out there. And just a little bit of a background, it's talking about the department awarded grants that specifically sought out to expand access to parking for truck drivers around the country. I'll save the formalities that they go about, and it talks about that this issue is imperative for both highway safety and supply chain efficiency, and we look forward to a continued partnership with the USDOT that's going on out there, and that the issue is of particular importance for women drivers who repeatedly cite lack of safe parking options as a deterrent to more women entering the field. Investing in these projects and ensuring all drivers have ready access to safe and well-lit parking facilities is an important step in shifting our industry's workforce demographics and empowering more women across the country to pursue the rewarding career opportunities that trucking has to offer. And I'm like right there with them. I love the investment in this. And I mean, dude, you talk to drivers all the time. I know that truck parking is probably top 3 for them when it comes down to it. And I think the first one, in my opinion, is just they just want to be treated like a human being, which I can't fault them for that. But it's like 2 and 3 to me is like fair compensation and safe and secure parking. That's like right up there.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's amazing. I'm right there with you, Chris. It's specifically in regard to women, keeping our women drivers safe. That's so important. There's so much that goes on in the industry that is not talked about, that is kind of buried under the rug in regards to that. And so I think that's awesome. And I think that's a very, very, very necessary thing. And they should move forward with that for sure.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing is Pete Buttigieg, he, goes on to say that we will use every opportunity to educate state and local partners about the eligibility of federal funding for truck parking and recommended states with the private sectors to truck operators and the trucking community is in the development of truck parking projects. And again, it's like, I've just growing up, riding with my dad as a kid and, parking on the on-ramps and stuff like that, because all the truck stops were full. And, I know like, yeah, some people will say, oh, the planning and everything else needs to be better. But it's like, that's not just the case for everybody. And I feel like we need to, like, to me, the safety and security of our drivers is the top Like that's a top core issue of this industry. You know, like I think like a lot of times, man, we always talk about symptoms, you know, the symptoms of the industry, and we want to fix the symptoms, but you can't treat a symptom unless you treat the core issue that's going on. And I think truck parking is always going to be that, and access to that, because again, it's like, you know, Sonny Sharma, he just he's in the comments right here, man. He's a former driver. He's been in this industry forever, and he was on a cross-country road trip here recently, Ramel, and he said the amount of rest areas that are still closed down to this day are like, it's insane to me. That's out there. How many trucking spots or how many parking spots are available just in those spots?
Right. No, I agree. And if there's opportunity to do something about it and there's real estate to do it, let's make it happen, man. Let's get those spots available for our truckers, man. I'm fully on board with that.
Dude, absolutely, man. And that article is from ttnews.com. It's ATA touts USDOT's truck parking agenda. And then let me see here. Papa Bear in a chair. I go live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn every single weekday. And then the audio only version of this will be uploaded onto my podcast, The Coffee with the Freight Coach, which is on iTunes and Spotify. And then I also put the links to all the articles that we talk about in there as well, you guys, because again, I'm just putting my opinion out there. I want you guys to do your own research at the end of the day and click a little bit deeper than those headlines, which aren't always geared towards putting the right information out there. Second article from FreightWaves, and it is no disaster relief for spot rates. And then the hurricane impact on the trucking transportation market depends largely on timing and location. National truckload spot rates increased a marginal 1.5% over the past week. And as the hurricane made landfall out there, obviously shout out to everybody down in Florida. I hope you guys are doing, you know, recovering. And that definitely was some of those wild scenes that were going on. You know, and it goes on to, you know, talking about the weather, like there's a nuance of all of these and the subsequent fallout. And then, you know, the timing and the market conditions, it talks about, is the market stable, transitioning into a tight and loose location. Urban areas are at risk for more damage, but this location also a primary hub of production and transportation, and the amount of damage. And this has been more of a long-term impact and is less impactful for the transportation as the time and event. And then, you know, again, it's, dude, like, I think that's one of those things, because I saw that stuff all over social media, is bring on the FEMA loads and everything else.
Yeah, no, whenever there's a disaster, unfortunately, people do profit in disaster, right? There's always a flip side where there's opportunity and those type of things, and just praying for those families and everybody who was affected by that. And I saw the same stuff, you know, in regards to FEMA. We've talked about that. We've had people, you know, who do very well, you know, when with FEMA loads and so forth. So yeah, I definitely feel you. So what exactly are they saying in that article? They're saying that the spot rates are what? Because I think I missed
that. They're not going to be affected.
They won't be affected. Yeah. Okay. They won't be negatively impacted.
Yeah, but to me, it's just like, I would disagree with that. I think that there's going to be I don't know how much of an increase in that, but the Southeast, the entire Southeast is going to be affected by that, you know? Yeah. And to me, it's going to be any freight that's probably going in and out of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and probably Tennessee are going to be affected by that, you know? So it's like, again, it's like, to say that there isn't going to be an impact on it, or it's going to be a minimal one, is, I think it's too early to tell. Like I've dealt with, because they talk about Hurricane Harvey in here, and that was a category 4, and that was fine. I remember Hurricane Harvey. I remember a lot of these storms that were that they're talking about in this article, and they all wreaked havoc in the transportation industry. You know, like, again, tell me one driver that was going to willingly drive into a fucking hurricane. You know, you're telling me that doesn't affect it? It does, you know, and then especially all the outbound freight, because again, that's a one-way trip. It's not like there's shit moving out of the state of Florida right now. For sure.
There's always an effect, man. There's cause and effect. That's the natural law of the universe. I think they're just writing something to write it. No disrespect, but I think, you know, you just got to have an article on it just to talk about the impact. And I guess that's their stance. It won't affect it, but we'll see.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing is it's like, I'm right there with you, man. And that article, we'll just leave it at that.
It sounds good. I mean, it's a shot in the dark. They could be right, they could be wrong, but at least they took a shot, right? We'll see.
Yeah, sometimes I would rather just wait for the facts to come out before putting a stance out there.
Yeah.
Which is saying a lot because I'm normally known to shoot from the fucking hip on about everything.
Right. Well, I mean, that's their job. That we as readers, and we depend on them to take a stance so we can then kind of make our moves or make our decisions based on that stance, or we don't, whatever. So that's what we depend on them for. So it's up to you whether you decide to roll with it or not. But ultimately, I think there's always an effect to everything, whether it'll be negative. We'll see. We'll see.
No, absolutely. And that article was from Freight Waves and no disaster relief for spot rates that were going on. And the last article, so it was from the JOC, JOC.com, and it's no recession for U.S. warehouse demand. And that was like the common theme that was out there. And I mean, warehouse space is at an absolute premium right now. And now, because you live in Atlanta, right? Full time?
No, I live in Jersey actually, but I'm in Atlanta a lot. So you might as well say I'm in Atlanta as well. I was
going to say, like, I swear to God, you were down there. The amount of times I see you posting of being in Atlanta, I figured you'd moved.
Yeah, I'm like, what do they call it? By city? I don't know what the word for it, but I'm like, I'm kind of both places because I do a lot of content in there. I have a lot of network in there. So I have a space in Atlanta as well. So yeah, I'm there.
I got you. So like, I mean, from a warehousing perspective, because I mean, obviously Atlanta is a big hub of freight, and even because you're outside of Philly, right? In South Jersey, right? Yeah, man. Another massive
lot of warehousing out here. And I think that that article, I completely agree. I think warehouses are going to continue to explode. As long as I've been in the industry, there's always been a need for space, and there will continue to be a need for space. As long as Americans continue to be greedy and want things, right? That, e-com continues to boom. And the more you take away our, liberties, like being able to do like recreational things, like people just want things to compensate for that, right? So they're ordering more things, and they want that to kind of medicate themselves, man. So there's always going to be a need for more space. So I see, in the next maybe 10, 20 years, all of this commercial real estate that we have out here that's abandoned, that used to be brick and mortar, will probably be transitioned into warehouses. We'll probably just have a bunch of warehouses all over the place and nothing else, man. Not to say that brick and mortar won't kind of come back. I mean, it has already come back a little bit, but I think a lot of those, spaces that we have will become warehousing. I'm seeing it happen now already in Jersey. It's amazing how many warehouses are being built, just in my area alone. It's incredible. Huge space. So we can never get enough space. Never. That'll never stop.
And I'm right there with you. And I think that it's only going to continue to increase. So, kind of talking about your point there about the fact, like, people are so, I need it today, I need it now. And I just think that it's going to shift the landscape of the industry. I don't want to, like I've talked about this, I don't think like long haul trucking is going to go away. I just don't think that there's going to be a massive need for it within probably the next 5 to 10 years, because everything's going to be so regional. It's going to be, I feel like it's like the longest haul on average is probably going to be 800 miles or something like that, because they need to be able to get stuff to the end consumer at a lot faster rate. So then the need to ship something from Seattle to Atlanta is going to be gone, because they're going to have a fulfillment center in like Little Rock, Arkansas, or over in St. Louis, and they're gonna be able to get it there next day and stuff. As the transportation begins to evolve, I just think that there's going to be so much more regional freight that's out there. And I think it's going to only become more and more relevant with the amount of warehousing that's being built. Like, shit, man, just here in Phoenix alone. And for the record, you guys, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I was asked like 19 times in this last week if I lived in Chattanooga, and that's not the case. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. But man, like over here, dude, there's a ton of warehousing popping up left and right. And I just think that there's going to be more and more of a focal point on that. I think it's like a lot of it's the Walmart effect. I don't remember the exact mileage count. Somebody can fact check me on that, but I want to see Walmart has a distribution center within 500 miles of every single one throughout the entire country. Like, that's how big their footprint is. And I could also see a lot of other larger retailers playing into that. And then I could also see them evolving into a collaboration space, like, hey, my competitor might not have a big footprint in North Dakota, but I do. And then we share space at that point. I just think like the need for collaborations will continue to evolve in transportation.
I agree. I agree with you totally, Chris. Like you said, Walmart, Amazon, it's follow the leader, man. If you see people being successful doing something, everybody's going to do the same thing. And I definitely agree that with what you said, that we will see last mile explode, continue to explode as it is now. Because like you said, the end user, they need to get their stuff now, man. Everybody's working to get stuff to the end user faster and faster and faster. Every single day they're building more technology to do that and creating more opportunities to do that. So yeah, that's what it's all about. That's the game right now. How fast can we get this product to our end user? So the only way to do that is to have warehousing closer to your end user.
No, absolutely. And that article, you guys, from the JOC, no recession for U.S. warehouse demand. Dude, that's kind of it for today, man. So how can anybody find tickets to Freight Fest and everything else? How can anybody reach out to you? Put that information out there, man.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. So Freight Fest, you can find tickets at freightfest.com. That's FREIGHTFEST.com. That's the easiest way. You can go check it out right now. Or it's all on my social, everywhere for social media, Truck and Hustle. Any of our links, you're going to find the links as well. Just check it out, man. I implore all you guys to check it out. Check out the speaker lineup that we have. It's incredible. We are adding more speakers to that list. There's going to be a lot of panels, a lot of fireside chats, presentations. It's going to be a nice mixed bag of run of show in order to just keep everybody just, up and alive and awake and activated, man. We really want to bring something new to the conference space. So I'm really excited about it. We're a month out now. So if you haven't gotten your tickets and, booked your flights and got your hotel, make sure you do it now, man. We'll be at the Royal Sonesta Hotel, actually, just to plug that as well. Royal Sonesta Hotel in downtown Houston, Galleria area, right by the mall, if anybody's familiar. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And it should be great, man. It should be great. I hope to see you there, Chris. You coming to Freight Fest? We got to get you out there, man.
I know we'll talk about that, man, because
we got to make that happen. We got to make that happen.
Absolutely. Well, hey, you guys, and then also one more final thing. I got a pretty massive announcement I'll be putting out there tomorrow as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. A lot of things, again, you guys about showing up every single day. A lot of stuff is going to continue to evolve and everything for me, and it's just the opportunities that have presented itself recently. I got a big announcement for you guys coming up tomorrow, but that's it for today, you guys. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We're the top morning show in transportation, coming to you live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we'll be talking to you